Alex Carter woke up in a room that felt nothing like the cold, metallic interior of his damaged spacecraft. The walls shimmered faintly, as if they were alive, and the air smelled fresh, almost sweet. His body still ached from the injuries he had suffered during the asteroid collision, but he felt stronger than he had in days. Confused, he tried to sit up, only to see her again, the glowing woman who had saved him. She stood near what appeared to be a window, her figure framed by the soft light of distant stars. Her skin seemed to radiate a gentle warmth, and her eyes, large and luminous, held a kindness that made Alex feel at ease, despite the strangeness of his situation. She turned to face him, her movements graceful and deliberate. "You are awake," she said, her voice melodic and soothing. "How do you feel?" I'm okay, I think," Alex replied, his voice rough from disuse. He cleared his throat and tried again. "Thank you for saving me. I don't know what happened after the crash." Zilara stepped closer, her expression thoughtful. "Your ship was drifting near one of our outer planets. It was heavily damaged, but your life signs were still detectable. I brought you here to help you recover." Alex looked around, taking in the unfamiliar surroundings. "This isn't Earth, is it? Where am I?" "You are on my ship," Zilara explained. "I am Zilara, a princess of the Lumari people. We live in this part of the galaxy." "The Lumari," Alex repeated, trying to process the information. He had heard rumors of alien civilizations during his training as an astronaut, but he never imagined he would meet one in person. "You're not human." "No, I am not," Zilara confirmed with a small smile. "But we share a common bond now. You needed help, and I chose to give it." Her words struck a chord with Alex. Despite everything he had been through, the loss of his crew, the isolation of being stranded in space, he felt a flicker of hope for the first time in weeks. This alien princess, with her glowing skin and calm demeanor, had saved his life. He owed her more than he could ever repay. Over the next few days, Zilara tended to Alex's injuries and provided him with food and water. The meals were unlike anything he had ever tasted, delicate, flavorful dishes that seemed to energize him with every bite. As he regained his strength, they began to talk more. Zilara was curious about Earth, asking questions about its landscapes, its people, and its culture. Alex, eager to share, told her stories about his childhood in a small town, his love for stargazing, and his dream of exploring the cosmos. In return, Zilara shared glimpses of her own world. She described the floating cities of the Lumari, their advanced technology, and their deep connection to the stars. But there was a sadness in her voice when she spoke about her future. Alex noticed it but didn't press her, sensing that some wounds ran too deep to be spoken aloud. One evening, as they sat together under the glow of the stars visible through the ship's windows, Alex decided to ask, "Zilara, if you don't mind me saying so, you seem lonely. Is something troubling you?" Zilara hesitated, her gaze fixed on the distant constellations. For a moment, Alex thought she wouldn't answer. Then softly, she began to speak. "Among my people, having children is considered one of the greatest joys and responsibilities. It is how we ensure our legacy continues. But I cannot have children. A condition in my genes makes it impossible." Her confession caught Alex off guard. He hadn't expected her to open up so honestly, and he wasn't sure how to respond. "I'm sorry," he said finally. "That must be hard for you." "It is," Zilara admitted. "As the future queen, I am expected to lead my people and provide an heir, but knowing I can never do that, it weighs heavily on me." Alex wanted to comfort her, to tell her that her worth wasn't defined by whether or not she could have children. But before he could find the right words, Zilara smiled faintly. "Still, meeting you has reminded me of something important. Life is full of unexpected paths. Perhaps there is more to my journey than I realize." Her words lingered in the air, filling the silence between them. Though neither of them knew it yet, Their lives were already beginning to intertwine in ways neither could have predicted. As days turned into weeks, Alex and Zilara spent more time together. Their conversations grew longer and deeper, each one bringing them closer. Alex told her about Earth, how people lived in big cities with towering buildings or in quiet countryside areas surrounded by nature. He described the smell of rain, the sound of birds chirping at sunrise, and the warmth of family gatherings during holidays. Zilara listened intently, her glowing eyes wide with curiosity. In return, Zilara shared stories about her own world. She explained how the Lumari valued harmony with their environment, using their advanced technology to protect their planet rather than exploit it. She spoke of festivals where her people danced under the light of their three suns and sang songs that echoed across the floating cities. But no matter how much she talked about her culture, there was always a hint of sadness when she mentioned her inability to have children. One day, while they were sitting in the ship's observation deck, Alex asked her a question that had been on his mind for a while. "Zilara, why do you spend so much time looking at the stars? Is it just because they're beautiful?" Zilara paused, her gaze drifting toward the window. "The stars remind me of possibilities," she said softly. "They make me think about all the things I might never experience. Sometimes I wonder if there's a place out there where someone like me could find happiness." Alex felt a pang of sympathy for her. He couldn't imagine what it must feel like to believe that something so important was completely out of reach. Without thinking, he reached out and placed a hand on hers. It was an instinctive gesture, meant to comfort her, but the moment their skin touched, both of them froze. For Zilara, it was the first time she had ever felt the touch of another being outside her species. Alex's hand was warm and solid, grounding her in a way she hadn't expected. For Alex, the sensation was equally surprising. Her skin felt smooth and cool, almost like silk, yet it carried a faint energy that sent a shiver up his spine. "I'm sorry," Alex said quickly, pulling his hand back. "I didn't mean to." "It's all right," Zilara interrupted, her voice barely above a whisper. She looked at her hand as if seeing it for the first time. "No one has ever touched me like that before." An awkward silence fell between them, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Instead, it felt charged with something neither of them could quite name. Alex cleared his throat and changed the subject. "You know, back on Earth, we have this saying, 'Shoot for the stars.' It means you should aim high, even if it seems impossible." Zilara tilted her head, intrigued. "And do humans often achieve these impossible goals?" "Sometimes," Alex admitted with a small smile. "But even when they don't, trying gives them hope. Hope can be powerful, Zilara. It keeps people going, even when things seem hopeless." His words stayed with her long after their conversation ended. That night, as she lay in her quarters, Zilara found herself thinking about Alex, and not just because of what he had said. There was something about him that made her feel different, lighter somehow. Around him, she didn't feel like a princess burdened by duty or a woman trapped by her limitations. She felt like herself. The next morning, she sought him out again. When she found him tinkering with a piece of equipment in the ship's workshop, she hesitated for a moment before speaking. "Alex, may I ask you something?" He glanced up, surprised to see her there. "Of course. What is it?" "Do you miss Earth?" she asked. "Your home, your family, everything you left behind." Alex set down the tool he was holding and sighed. "Every day. It's hard being so far away from everything I've ever known. But honestly, I think about it less when I'm with you. You make me feel like maybe I'm not completely lost out here." Zilara's heart skipped a beat. She had never heard anyone say something so kind to her before. "Thank you," she murmured. "That means more to me than you know." Neither of them realized it then, but their connection was growing stronger with each passing day. What started as gratitude and curiosity was slowly blossoming into something deeper. And though neither dared to admit it, they were beginning to care for each other in ways neither had anticipated. As the days passed, Alex and Zilara's bond deepened. They spent hours talking, laughing, and sharing their thoughts. Zilara found herself looking forward to their conversations more than anything else. For the first time in her life, she felt understood. Alex didn't treat her like a princess or an alien. He treated her like a person. He listened to her without judgment and offered her comfort when she needed it most. Alex, too, was beginning to feel something he hadn't expected. At first, his gratitude toward Zilara had been simple. He owed her his life, after all. But now he realized it was more than that. Her kindness, her strength, and even her quiet vulnerability drew him in. She wasn't just the woman who had saved him. She was someone he genuinely cared about. One evening, as they sat together in the ship's observation deck, Alex decided to ask her something that had been on his mind. Zilara, what happens next? I mean, for you and for me. Zilara looked at him, surprised by the question. What do you mean? I mean, once we fix my ship, or find a way to get me back to Earth. What then? Do we just go our separate ways? The thought of leaving her made his chest tighten, but he forced himself to stay calm. You've done so much for me already. I don't want to overstay my welcome. Zilara's expression softened. You could never overstay your welcome, Alex. You have brought light into my life in ways I didn't think were possible. She paused, choosing her words carefully. But I understand your question. Our worlds are very different. Your place is on Earth, among your people. My place is here, leading mine. Alex nodded slowly, though her answer left him feeling uneasy. He wanted to believe they could find a way to be together, but the reality of their situation was daunting. It's just, I don't know if I'm ready to say goodbye yet. Zilara reached out and placed her hand on his. This time, neither of them pulled away. Nor am I, she admitted. But we must face the truth, Alex. Even if we wish things were different, there are obstacles we cannot ignore. Her words hung in the air between them, heavy with meaning. Alex knew she was right. Their relationship, if it could even be called that, was complicated by more than just distance. There was her royal status, the expectations of her people, and the fact that they came from entirely different worlds. Yet, despite all of this, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they belonged together. The next morning, Zilara received a message from her advisors back on her homeworld. They were growing concerned about her prolonged absence and urged her to return soon. Reading their words, Zilara felt a pang of guilt. She had responsibilities she couldn't ignore, no matter how much she wanted to stay with Alex. When she told him about the message, Alex tried to hide his disappointment. I guess this means it's time for me to leave, doesn't it? Not yet, Zilara said quickly. We still need to repair your ship, and I won't send you off until we're sure it's safe. But yes, we should prepare ourselves for what comes next. Over the next few days, they worked side by side to fix the damaged spacecraft. Zilara used her advanced tools and knowledge to help Alex repair the engine, while he taught her about human engineering techniques. Working together, they found a rhythm that felt almost natural, as if they had been doing this for years. But as the repairs neared completion, the tension between them grew. Both knew their time together was running out. One night, unable to sleep, Alex wandered to the observation deck. He found Zilara there, gazing at the stars as she often did. Still thinking about possibilities, he asked gently, joining her by the window. She smiled faintly. Always. But tonight, my thoughts are closer to home. Alex hesitated, then took a deep breath. Zilara, I need to tell you something. These past weeks with you, they've meant more to me than I can put into words. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know one thing. I care about you, more than I ever thought I could care about anyone. Zilara's eyes filled with emotion. And I care about you, Alex. More than I should, perhaps. But caring isn't enough to change the reality of our lives. Alex nodded, his heart aching. I know, but maybe, just maybe, there's a way, if we're willing to fight for it. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Zilara reached out and took his hand, holding it tightly. In that silent gesture, they both acknowledged the truth. Whatever lay ahead, they weren't ready to let go. Not yet. The day Alex's ship was finally repaired came sooner than either of them wanted. Zilara stood by as he ran the last system checks, her heart heavy with the knowledge that their time together was almost over. For weeks, they had worked side by side, sharing laughter, stories, and quiet moments that neither would forget. But now, reality loomed large, and the weight of their differences pressed down on them. As Alex finished the final test, he turned to face her. "It's ready," he said, his voice tinged with sadness. "I can leave whenever you're ready to take me back." Zilara nodded, though her glowing skin seemed dimmer than usual. "Then let us go. Your journey home should not be delayed any longer." They boarded her sleek spacecraft in silence, the air between them thick with unspoken emotions. As they traveled toward the coordinates where Alex's ship awaited, neither could bring themselves to talk about what lay ahead. Instead, they watched the stars streak past the windows, each lost in their own thoughts. When they arrived, Zilara helped Alex transfer the last of his supplies to his repaired vessel. Every movement felt deliberate, as if they were trying to stretch out the moments they had left. Finally, there was nothing left to do but say goodbye. Alex hesitated at the entrance of his ship, looking back at Zilara one last time. "I'll never forget you," he said softly. "You saved my life, not just physically, but in ways I can't even explain." Tears welled up in Zilara's eyes, though she tried to blink them away. "And you gave me hope, Alex, something I thought I had lost forever." Before she could stop herself, she stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him in a tight embrace. Alex held her close, savoring the warmth of her touch. For a brief moment, it felt like the universe had paused, giving them this one perfect instant together. But reality soon intruded. Pulling back reluctantly, Alex climbed into his ship and closed the hatch. As he powered up the engines, Zilara stood outside, watching through the window. She raised a hand in farewell, her glowing figure framed by the vastness of space. Alex mirrored the gesture, his heart breaking as he initiated the launch sequence. The ship lifted off, leaving Zilara behind. As it disappeared into the distance, she whispered, "Goodbye, Alex." Back on her homeworld, Zilara struggled to focus on her duties. Her advisors noticed her distraction, but didn't press her for answers. Instead, they reminded her of the upcoming council meeting, where she would need to present plans for trade agreements with neighboring planets. It was important work, but Zilara found it hard to care. Her mind kept drifting back to Alex, to his smile, his voice, the way he made her feel alive. One night, unable to sleep, Zilara wandered into the royal library. Among the ancient texts and scrolls, she began searching for something, anything, that might ease the ache in her heart. Her fingers brushed against a dusty tome titled Asterisk, The Forgotten Rituals Asterisk. Curious, she opened it and began reading. To her astonishment, she discovered a passage about solvithium, a rare mineral said to have miraculous healing properties. According to the text, it had once been used to repair damaged DNA, curing conditions thought to be incurable. The idea sparked a flicker of hope within her. Could this be the answer she had been searching for? The next morning, Zilara called an emergency meeting with her scientific team. "I need you to confirm something," she told them, showing them the passage from the book. "Is solvithium real? And if so, where can we find it?" The scientists exchanged uncertain glances before one of them spoke. "Solvithium is extremely rare, Your Highness. It exists only on Krylos 7, a moon orbiting a dying star. Retrieving it would be dangerous." Zilara's resolve hardened. Danger didn't matter. If there was even a chance this mineral could change her fate, she had to try. But retrieving it wouldn't be easy. The journey to Krylos 7 was perilous, and she couldn't do it alone. Her thoughts immediately turned to Alex. Though he was light years away, She knew he would understand. More importantly, she knew he would help. Without hesitation, she activated her communication device and sent a message to Earth, hoping against hope that he would receive it. Days passed with no response, and Zilara began to fear the worst. Had he already moved on? Did he regret ever meeting her? Just as doubt began to creep in, her screen lit up with a reply. Alex's voice crackled through the speaker, weak but unmistakable. "Zilara, is that you?" Relief washed over her. "Yes, Alex. It's me. I need your help." "What is it?" he asked, concern evident in his tone. "There's something I need to do, a chance to fix what I thought was broken. But I can't do it alone. Will you come back?" For a moment, there was silence. Then, Alex's voice came through, steady and sure. "Tell me." When Alex received Zilara's message, his heart raced. He had spent weeks trying to adjust to life back on Earth, but nothing felt right. The blue skies and familiar streets couldn't compare to the shimmering glow of Zilara's skin or the warmth of her presence. Her call came like a lifeline, pulling him out of the emptiness he had been feeling. Without hesitation, Alex packed what little he needed and boarded the first available spacecraft heading toward her coordinates. The journey was long and exhausting, but he didn't care. All that mattered was reaching her. When their ships finally met in the vastness of space, Alex wasted no time docking with hers. As soon as the hatch opened, he stepped through, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on her. Zilara stood there, her glowing figure as radiant as he remembered. For a moment, neither of them moved. They simply stared at each other, drinking in the sight of one another. "You came," Zilara said softly, breaking the silence. "Of course I did," Alex replied, stepping closer. "You saved my life. It's only fair I return the favor." Zilara smiled faintly, though her expression remained serious. "This won't be easy, Alex. Krylos 7 is dangerous. A barren moon with violent storms and creatures that could tear us apart. But if we succeed, it might change everything." Alex nodded, determination shining in his eyes. "Then let's do it. Together." The journey to Krylos 7 was tense. The moon orbited a dying star, its surface bathed in an eerie red glow. As they approached, the ship's sensors picked up signs of extreme weather patterns, raging winds, lightning storms, and sudden temperature shifts. Zilara explained that solvithium deposits were often found deep within caves, making the mission even more perilous. "We'll need to move quickly once we land," Zilara said, studying the readouts. "The storms can rise without warning, and we won't have much time." Alex listened carefully, memorizing every detail she shared. Though he wasn't used to such hostile environments, he trusted Zilara's expertise. More importantly, he trusted her leadership and her courage. When they touched down on the moon's rocky surface, the air outside was thin and bitterly cold. They suited up in protective gear designed to withstand the harsh conditions and stepped out into the alien landscape. Jagged cliffs loomed around them, and the ground beneath their feet was cracked and unstable. Above them, the sky churned with dark clouds streaked with flashes of lightning. "This way," Zilara said, pointing toward a narrow opening in the cliffside. "The scanners indicate the largest deposit should be inside." They made their way cautiously, their footsteps crunching against the brittle terrain. Inside the cave, the darkness was nearly absolute, forcing them to rely on the lights attached to their suits. The walls sparkled faintly, hinting at mineral veins embedded within the rock. But as they ventured deeper, the sound of movement echoed through the tunnels. "What was that?" Alex whispered, gripping the small tool Zilara had given him for defense. "Stay close," Zilara warned, her voice low. "There are predators here. They're drawn to heat and movement." As if on cue, a pair of glowing eyes appeared in the shadows ahead. Then another set, and another. Slowly, hulking shapes emerged from the darkness, creatures with armored hides and razor-sharp claws. They circled the intruders, growling menacingly. Zilara raised her weapon, a sleek device that emitted a high-pitched frequency. "Don't let them corner us," she instructed. "We need to keep moving." Alex followed her lead, using his tool to fend off any creature that got too close. Together, they fought their way deeper into the cave, their teamwork seamless despite the chaos around them. Finally, they'd reached a large chamber glittering with veins of solvithium embedded in the walls. "We need to extract as much as we can. Fast," Zilara shouted over the din of the storm outside. Working quickly, they used handheld drills to collect samples, stuffing them into reinforced containers. Just as they finished, the ground began to tremble violently. A crack split the ceiling, sending rocks tumbling down. "We have to go," Alex yelled, grabbing Zilara's hand. They sprinted back through the tunnels, dodging falling debris and evading the creatures still pursuing them. By the time they reached the entrance, the storm outside had intensified, pelting them with icy winds and blinding dust. "Hold on," Zilara shouted, pulling Alex toward their ship. They leaped aboard just as the storm swallowed the area behind them. Exhausted but triumphant, they collapsed into their seats, the precious solvithium safely stored away. "We did it," Alex panted, grinning despite his fatigue. "Yes," Zilara said, her voice filled with quiet awe. "We did." For the first time in years, she allowed herself to believe that miracles were possible. And, back on Zilara's homeworld, the scientists worked tirelessly to analyze the solvithium samples. The mineral was even rarer than they had anticipated, and its properties were unlike anything they had ever studied. Days turned into weeks as Zilara and Alex waited anxiously for news. They spent most of their time together, finding comfort in each other's presence despite the uncertainty hanging over them. During this time, their bond grew stronger. Zilara introduced Alex to more of her world, the floating cities, the vibrant festivals, and the lush gardens where Lumeri citizens gathered to celebrate life. Though some of her people stared curiously at the human visitor, many welcomed him warmly, touched by the kindness he showed their princess. For his part, Alex marveled at the beauty of the planet and the grace of its inhabitants. He felt like an outsider, but Zilara's constant support made him feel less alone. One evening, as they walked through a crystal garden bathed in the soft light of the three suns, Zilara stopped and turned to face him. "Alex," she began hesitantly, "what happens if the treatment works? If we?" Her voice trailed off, but Alex understood what she was trying to ask. "If it works, then we'll figure things out together," he said firmly. "I don't know how, and I don't know what challenges we'll face, but I'm not giving up on us. Not now." Zilara's eyes filled with emotion, and she nodded silently. She wanted to believe him, to trust that love could overcome any obstacle. But deep down, she knew their journey wouldn't be easy, even if the miracle they hoped for came true. Finally, the day arrived when the scientists called them to the lab. Zilara and Alex entered the room hand in hand, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The lead scientist greeted them with a mixture of excitement and caution. "Your Highness, Alex," he began, "we have completed the analysis and synthesized the treatment. Based on our tests, the solvithium has the potential to repair your genetic condition, but there are no guarantees. Are you prepared to proceed?" Zilara took a deep breath, squeezing Alex's hand for strength. "Yes," she said. "Let's do it." The procedure was delicate and required hours of precise work. Alex stayed by her side throughout, refusing to leave even when the medical team suggested he rest. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the doctors stepped back, their expressions unreadable. "It is done," one of them announced. "We will monitor her closely over the next few days, but the initial results are promising." Relief washed over Alex, but Zilara remained cautious. "Promising isn't enough," she said softly. "We need to know for sure." Over the following days, Zilara underwent a series of tests to confirm the treatment's success. Each result brought more hope until, finally, The head scientist approached them with a smile. "Your Highness, the treatment has worked. Your genetic structure has stabilized and adapted in ways we did not expect. You are now capable of bearing children." Tears streamed down Zilara's face as the weight of years of sadness lifted from her shoulders. She turned to Alex, unable to speak, and embraced him tightly. "Thank you," she whispered, "for believing in me, for being here." Alex held her close, his own eyes misty with emotion. "This is just the beginning," he murmured. "Our future starts now." But their joy was short-lived. News of the successful treatment spread quickly among the Lumari, reaching the council elders who governed the planet. While some celebrated Zilara's newfound ability to continue the royal line, others viewed her relationship with Alex as a threat to tradition. Whispers of disapproval began to circulate, and soon Zilara found herself facing pressure from all sides. "You cannot marry a human," one elder declared during a private meeting. "It goes against everything our people stand for." Zilara stood tall, her voice steady despite the storm brewing around her. "Love knows no boundaries," she said. "If we are to grow as a people, we must embrace change, not fear it." Her words sparked heated debates among the council, dividing those who supported her and those who opposed her. As tensions rose, Alex watched helplessly, knowing the fight ahead would test them both. Yet, through it all, Zilara remained resolute. With Alex by her side, she vowed to prove that love, no matter how unconventional, could unite worlds and create something beautiful. Their story was far from over, but they faced the future together, ready to challenge whatever came next. The tension between Zilara and the council elders grew thicker with each passing day. Her decision to pursue a life with Alex had ignited a firestorm of debate among her people. Some supported her, inspired by her courage and willingness to challenge tradition. Others, however, saw her relationship with a human as an insult to their culture, a dangerous step toward losing their identity. One evening, after another exhausting meeting with the council, Zilara returned to her chambers feeling drained. Alex was waiting for her, his expression softening when he saw the weariness in her eyes. "How did it go?" he asked gently. "They're still against us," Zilara replied, sinking into a chair. "They say I'm putting my feelings above my duty to my people, that I'm risking everything for something they don't understand." Alex knelt beside her, placing a hand on hers. "You're not alone in this, Zilara. Whatever happens, we'll face it together." His words brought her some comfort, but the weight of the situation remained heavy. The council had given her an ultimatum: renounce Alex and preserve her role as queen, or stand by him and risk being stripped of her title. It was a choice no one should have to make. That night, unable to sleep, Zilara wandered to the crystal dome at the top of her palace. The stars above shimmered brightly, reminding her of the countless conversations she'd had with Alex about hope and possibilities. She thought about how far they had come, the dangers they had faced, the sacrifices they had made, and realized she couldn't turn back now. The next morning, Zilara called for a public gathering in the heart of the capital city. Word spread quickly, drawing crowds of Lumari citizens who were eager to hear what their princess had to say. When Zilara stepped onto the platform, the murmurs of the crowd fell silent. All eyes were on her, glowing softly under the light of the three suns. "My people," she began, her voice steady and clear, "I stand before you today, not just as your princess, but as a woman who has struggled with doubt and fear. For years, I believed I could never fulfill my duty to lead our family line. But then, fate brought someone into my life who changed everything." She paused, glancing briefly at Alex, who stood nearby. "Alex is not one of us. He comes from a distant world, with customs and ways different from ours, but he has shown me kindness, strength, and love. Because of him, I found hope where there was none. And because of him, I am here today, ready to embrace a future I once thought impossible." Her words resonated with many in the crowd, who nodded in agreement. But Zilara wasn't finished. Some of you may ask why I would choose to share my life with a human. The answer is simple. Love knows no boundaries. It sees beyond differences and brings people together. If we are to grow as a people, we must learn to accept change, not cling to fear. As she spoke, her confidence grew. I will not renounce Alex, nor will I abandon my dreams of a family. To do so would mean betraying who I am. But I also will not give up my place as your leader. Together, Alex and I can build a future that honors both our worlds, a future where unity and understanding replace division and fear. Her speech stirred emotions across the crowd. Many cheered, moved by her passion and sincerity. Even some of the council members who had opposed her began to reconsider their stance. Though not everyone agreed, Zilara's words planted seeds of hope in the hearts of her people. After the gathering, Alex approached her, his eyes shining with pride. "That was incredible," he said. "You didn't just speak for yourself, you spoke for all of us." Zilara smiled faintly, though exhaustion lingered in her expression. "It's not over yet. There will still be challenges ahead. But for the first time, I feel like we might actually have a chance." And so, with the support of those who believed in them, Zilara and Alex prepared for the next chapter of their journey. They knew the road wouldn't be easy, but they also knew they weren't walking it alone. Together, they would fight for a future where love could bridge even the widest gaps between species, cultures, and worlds. Months passed, and Zilara's determination began to win over more of her people. Though some still opposed her union with Alex, many others were inspired by her courage and vision for the future. Slowly but surely, support for their relationship grew stronger. The Lumeri started to see Alex not as an outsider, but as someone who had brought hope and change to their princess, and through her, to their world. Preparations for their wedding became a symbol of unity between two vastly different cultures. Zilara worked closely with both Lumari artisans and human representatives to create a ceremony that honored traditions from both sides. The event would take place in the Grand Plaza of the capital city, under the glow of the three suns, with guests traveling from distant planets to witness the historic moment. On the day of the wedding, the plaza was transformed into a breathtaking scene. Lumeri crystals hung from floating platforms, casting shimmering light across the gathering. Earth's flag fluttered alongside banners bearing the Lumeri crest, representing the blending of their worlds. Music filled the air. Melodic tunes played on Lumeri instruments mixed with gentle chords from human ones. Zilara wore a gown made of luminous fabric that seemed to dance with light, crafted by the finest designers of her people. Alex stood beside her in a simple yet elegant suit, his presence calm and steady. As they exchanged vows, their words carried deep meaning, not just for themselves, but for everyone watching. They promised to stand together, to learn from each other, and to build a future where differences were celebrated rather than feared. The crowd erupted in cheers when the ceremony ended, signaling the start of a new era. Representatives from Earth joined the celebration via holographic transmissions, marveling at the sight of their former astronaut standing beside an alien queen. For the first time, humanity and the Lumari felt truly connected. In the months that followed, Zilara discovered she was expecting twins, a boy and a girl. The news brought joy not only to her and Alex, but to their entire world. Their children, born with traits from both species, became living symbols of unity. The boy had glowing skin like his mother, while the girl inherited her father's warm brown eyes. Together, they represented the potential for harmony between humans and the Lumari. As the years went by, Zilara and Alex worked tirelessly to strengthen ties between Earth and the Lumari. Trade agreements were signed, cultural exchanges flourished, and joint missions explored uncharted parts of the galaxy. Their efforts laid the foundation for lasting peace between their peoples. Zilara's reign ushered in an age of prosperity and innovation. Her children grew up learning about both their parents' worlds, becoming ambassadors of goodwill wherever they traveled. They spoke multiple languages, adapted to diverse environments, and inspired others to embrace cooperation over conflict. Alex often reflected on how far they had come since their first meeting aboard Zilara's ship. What had started as a chance encounter had blossomed into something extraordinary, a partnership that transcended boundaries and changed countless lives. He knew their journey hadn't been easy, but every challenge had been worth it. One evening, as they watched their children play under the twin moons of the Lumari sky, Zilara turned to Alex with a smile. "Do you remember when I thought I could never have a family?" she asked softly. "I do," Alex replied, wrapping an arm around her. "And look at us now." Zilara leaned into him, her heart full of gratitude. "I once believed love couldn't overcome everything, but loving you showed me that miracles are possible." Their story became legend, a tale told across galaxies about the power of love to bridge divides and create a brighter future. And though challenges remained, Zilara and Alex faced them together, knowing they had already achieved the impossible. Years passed, and Zilara's reign became a beacon of hope not just for the Lumari, but for countless civilizations across the galaxy. Her partnership with Alex had proven that love could transcend even the widest divides between species, cultures, and worlds. Together, they had built something extraordinary, a legacy of unity, understanding, and progress. Their children, now teenagers, were at the heart of this new era. The boy, named Kel, had inherited his mother's glowing skin and her people's natural affinity for technology. Yet he also shared his father's curiosity and adventurous spirit, often tinkering with gadgets or exploring uncharted regions of space. His sister, Lyra, was equally remarkable. With her warm brown eyes and quick wit, she bridged gaps between humans and the Lumari effortlessly. She spent her days learning Earth's languages and traditions, determined to honor both sides of her heritage. Kale and Lyra grew up traveling between planets, serving as ambassadors of goodwill wherever they went. Their presence reminded others of what was possible when two worlds came together. They spoke passionately about peace, cooperation, and the importance of embracing differences. Wherever they went, they inspired hope. Back on the Lumari homeworld, Zilara and Alex continued to lead by example. Under their guidance, the Lumari flourished. Advances in medicine, science, and engineering improved life for everyone, while cultural exchanges brought new art, music, and ideas to their floating cities. Humans and Lumari worked side by side, sharing knowledge and building projects that benefited both species. Even those who had once opposed Zilara's union with Alex now acknowledged the positive changes it had brought. One day, as the family gathered in the crystal garden bathed in the light of the three suns, Alex looked around at the life they had created together. "I never imagined I'd end up here," he said with a smile. "When I first crashed near Saturn, I thought my story was over. Instead, it turned into something I couldn't have dreamed of." Zilara reached for his hand, her glowing skin shimmering softly in the sunlight. "Neither did I," she admitted. "For so long, I believed I was destined to be alone. But meeting you changed everything." Lyra, sitting nearby, leaned forward with a grin. "Do you think our story will inspire others? Like, maybe someday more humans and Lumari will fall in love." Kale chuckled. "Or other species too. Why stop at just us?" Zilara laughed, her voice melodic and warm. "Perhaps you're right. Love has a way of breaking down walls we didn't even know existed." As the years went on, Zilara and Alex's story spread far beyond their solar system. It was told in songs, written in books, and shared in classrooms on distant planets. Their journey became a symbol of what could be achieved when people chose understanding over fear, connection over division. Though challenges remained, there would always be skeptics and those resistant to change. The foundation they had built was strong. The bond between Earth and the Lumari continued to grow, paving the way for alliances with other civilizations. Humanity began to see itself as part of something greater, no longer isolated but connected to a vast and diverse universe. On quiet evenings, Zilara and Alex would sit together under the stars, watching their children laugh and dream of futures they could scarcely imagine. Zilara often found herself reflecting on how much had changed since that fateful day she first spotted Alex's drifting ship. She had been searching for answers then, unsure if she would ever find happiness. Now, surrounded by the family she loved and the world she had helped shape, she felt truly at peace. "You know," Alex said one night, breaking the comfortable silence, "we've come a long way from where we started." Zilara nodded, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "Yes, we have. And yet, it feels like just the beginning." Together, they looked out at the endless expanse of stars, knowing their story was part of something much larger, a testament to the power of love to transform lives and unite worlds. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they faced them with unwavering faith in each other and in the future they had built together.